Hello and welcome to CIS 180, Intro to VB.NET. My name is Hannah. I will be your instructor for the semester. You can call me Hannah. I'm recording these videos because I will have to miss a few classes, and one of them will be this first class. Usually we'll be meeting face to face, and when we'll meet next time, I will get to know you. When I'm not in the class, I will have a substitute instructor who will help you, who will guide you through the material I want you to cover this time when I'm not in the class. Here on the screen you see the course syllabus. So I will ask, if you didn't do it yet, that the substitute instructor distribute the syllabus so that we can go over the syllabus together. Again, during the class or after the class, when you go home, anytime basically. If you don't understand something, if you understood that you don't understand something, or you remembered a question or something, please don't hesitate to ask, to get the information any way that's possible. Either ask the substitute instructor, or email me, or call me. So let's begin with the syllabus first, and then we'll continue into the actual programming. So this course is, like I already said, is CIS 180, Introduction to Visual Basic .NET Programming. It's 4 credit hours and 3 lecture hours in 1 lab, I assume. That's what it means. It's 6 to 10 p.m. Mondays, room 2629, Des Plaines building. My name is Hannah Purh. You can just call me Hannah. My phone number is on the syllabus, and you can see my email. Feel free to use it anytime. Feel free to send me emails 24/7. Call me until maybe 11 p.m. and no earlier than 7 a.m. I will also have office hours from 5 to 6 p.m. That's on Mondays, right before class. Or if you need extra time with me, please email me or call me, and we'll set up time when we can meet outside of the class or office hours. So prerequisites. So there is no prerequisites for this class. It's recommended that you take CIS 101 or CIS 103 or comparable computer knowledge. That's just how to use computers. And CSC 155 or CSC 156, comparable programming knowledge, that's I believe that's intro to computer programming of some sort. Again, if you have not taken any computer programming classes before, or do not have any computer programming experience, you're in the right place, because this is an introductory class, and I'm not expecting you to know any programming. I'm going to teach this class as if you didn't have any programming experience, as if it's your first programming class. If you have had some programming experience, then you will still learn new things in this class, because first of all, this is specifically VB.NET class. I'm going to teach you VB.NET language, and in addition to that, I'm trying to teach you world programming, real world programming, which means I'm going to teach you certain concepts that are applicable in the real world, not just in the classroom. For example, how to use databases and what is database, and how we can write a program that resembles something that's used in the real world and connect it to a database. You probably wonder why I'm talking about databases in a computer programming class, in VB.NET class. The reason is because vast majority of computer programming classes do not teach you how to use simple database, how to program using simple database, and I believe that does not reflect the real world programming, because if you go out and find a job in computer programming, you will be programming, you will be dealing with databases. So course description. Course introduces programming using the Visual Basic .NET programming language to solve business-related problems. Content includes program development and design, object-oriented programming, screen design, structured programming techniques, and event-driven programming using objects. Programming assignment concepts include arithmetic calculation, design making, looping, soft and hard copy, display, subroutines and functions, data validation, working with arrays, introductory concepts of file creation and data retrieval, and accessing, updating, and querying data in a database. So let's start from the beginning. So this is a course that will teach you the Visual Basic language and how to program. How to, first we'll start with simple programs, and then we'll go into a little bit of the simple tasks, and then we'll go to a little bit more complicated programming. This is the course that will teach you real life programming. And in real life, if you go out and find a programming job, it's most likely will be some kind of business related programming. If you are lucky enough, you may find something that's maybe related to defense, or calculations, some kind of calculations that are not related to business. It could be like, I don't know, military defense, or I don't know what else, but that's very few jobs, and most jobs are in business field. So this VB.NET language is object-oriented language. You will learn what is object-oriented language. You will learn about event-driven programming and objects, and structured programming techniques. Of course, we will learn about screen design, and how to design forms and put elements on the forms, make it look presentable to the user and easy to use. And you will learn all of these things, how to make calculations in VB.NET, how to make designs, what is loops, and all of this other stuff that's here, and what is querying, and what is a database. There's a textbook for this course, which I'm not using in this first class, but I will try to give you assignments, simple assignments from this textbook a little bit later on when I come back. So this is the information of this textbook. So it's Microsoft Visual Basic 2012 Reloaded, 5th edition. Author Zach. There is an ISBN number. We are going to use Microsoft Visual Studio .NET 2010. Actually, there are some later versions that exist already, but we're still using 2010. I find it's not so different from 2014, I believe, edition, and it's just easier because we have it, and some database related issues, access. I felt last time I took this class that it's important to just stick to 2010 in regard to the Visual Studio and Access 2010. So, but right now you only have to think about Microsoft Visual Studio .NET 2010. Later on, we might have to use Access. Maybe yes, maybe not. We'll see how we go. Octane Community College will provide this and some other Microsoft software to you for free. So this is a good thing. They will provide you Microsoft Visual Studio .NET 2010 for free, and also they will provide you with Microsoft Office Access 2000. Oh, well, it says 2013. Well, I believe it also has 2010 as well, but it doesn't give you the rest of the Office. So there are other ways to get Microsoft Office Word, PowerPoint, Excel. That's free. I believe it was called Office 360. If you're interested, email me. I'll find out exactly what it was called. If you need other Office products. So basically you can get a lot of software for free, and Microsoft will provide it to you as long as your students are doctor and taking these classes. To receive a free version of any of these software packages, email the instructor. So you have to email me with what you want. I will send this email to John Striker, and John Striker will give you a link, really, with the access and instructions how to do this. That's it. That's all you have to do. Okay, this is important that you have Microsoft Visual Studio.NET 2010 at this point. Learning objectives. Upon completion of this course, the student will be able to demonstrate introductory level proficiency in programming using VB.NET by writing programs for a wide variety of business applications. Programming concepts will include internal documentation, working with variables and constants, decision-making loops, arrays, tables, building functions, mathematical concepts as applied to business screen and paper reports with totals, data validations, use of simple menus, passing parameters to subroutines, introduction to file handling, connecting to a database, and accessing, updating, and querying data in database. Let's start from the beginning. Internal documentation. It's a fancy word to say that you have to leave comments in your code. So when you program, you write code. Code is a collection of sequence of instructions for the computer to do, and when you write these instructions, when you write these commands, sequence of commands, you have to leave comments for the other programmers that explain what was this code doing and how it's working, and what exactly is going on with the code. These comments are not only for the users, for the other programmers, they're also for you, because if you wrote something a month ago and you go back to that code and you want to change something, you may not remember what you wrote there and why you wrote it that way. It may take you too much time to actually understand this code again, even though you wrote it yourself. And if you find a computer programming job and come to work and they give you somebody else's code and say, okay, you have to change something here, and you look at this code and you have no idea how it works, and this code doesn't have comments, and you understand why this, you already hate the guy. You understand why this worker maybe didn't last, because everybody hated him because he didn't leave comments. So you have to leave comments for yourself and for your fellow programmers. Working with variables and constants. So I'll teach you what's variables and what's a variable and what's a constant, and how to work with them, and how to describe them, and how to declare them. Decision making. So yeah, you have to make decisions when you program. Obviously, like anything else you do, you have to make decisions how to do things. Programming is sort of, in a way, a creative process, and everybody will program the same thing differently. And while you program, you will make a lot of decisions. Loops. What are loops? I'll teach you what are loops. Arrays. What are arrays? And multi-dimensional arrays, which would be a table. Building functions, mathematical concepts as applied to business, screen and paper reports with totals, data validation, use of simple menus. So all of this I will explain as we go. What are subroutines and what are parameters and what are files and how to handle files and what is databases. All of this stuff you will learn. The student will display competency in program design and program solving, including working with event-driven languages, including screen design and selection of appropriate controls objects. Program design through appropriate tools such as TOE charts, hierarchy charts, flow charts, and pseudocode. Debugging, preparation of adequate documentation. Okay, so this is again an object-oriented language. So object-oriented language, different way to say object-oriented language is event-driven language, and object-oriented concept is everywhere in Visual Basic, including the screen design. And I will explain all of this to you. It shouldn't make sense right now unless you have taken other classes or you have had some experience with object-oriented languages. It shouldn't ring any bells right now. I will explain all of this. So you will have to plan for the program. So the way they plan, programs are usually very big. A small program to write takes years, sometimes 2 years in the real world. So they can't just sit down and write code. They have to plan first, what it's going to look like at the end, sort of, and then they break it down. In a simpler tasks and programs, and they have to use some flow charts and some tools, some charts and hierarchy and charts. And hierarchy charts are very useful in in object-oriented programming, because you will see later object-oriented concept has a lot to do with parent classes and child classes. You already see parent and child is like there's certain hierarchy in there, right? Parent is higher than child, and you will see how it works later. Pseudocode is basically, writing the same commands that you could write in VB.NET, but writing them in sort of made up language, or half English, half VB.NET, so that you don't have to code or describe exactly what the code will need to do, but it has to describe it in more understandable language, let's put it this way. So pseudocode usually, if let's say you know VB.NET and another person doesn't know VB.NET, but they know C# or Java, they will understand pseudocode. All of you guys will. If you write pseudocode, you will understand each other. Debugging, which means finding errors in your code. Preparation of adequate documentation. Yeah, so you will learn all of this. You will sort of know how to do all of this. Academic integrity. So there are certain things that are not tolerated by Oakland Community College, which is cheating, plagiarism, falsification or fabrication, helping others to cheat, unauthorized changes to official documents, pretending to be someone else or having someone else pretend to be you, making or accepting bribes, special favors or threats, and any other behavior that violates academic integrity. So this is I only can tell you one way that it pertains to this class. When you do your homework, you can get help from me, you can get help from instruction, from the VB.NET instruction manual. You can get help from internet, though I would not advise you to go to the internet, because very often the code there is not correct. You cannot get help from each other. This will be individual assignments. Homework will be individual. You cannot get help from each other. If you have a problem, you call me, or you go to the manual, or in some rare cases maybe internet could help. There are serious consequences to violations of the academic integrity policy. Octan's policies and procedures provide students a fair hearing if a complaint is made against you. If you are found to have violated the policy, the minimum penalty is failure on the assignment, and a disciplinary record will be established and kept on file in the office of Vice President for Student Affairs for a period of 3 years. So this is pretty bad, so don't cheat. Yeah. so the outline of topics. So this is a big list of stuff I'm gonna cover one way or the other, directly or indirectly. I'll tell you that we will probably not cover every single thing here on the list. This is very, big list. So it depends how fast we go, how how everybody's doing in the class. We'll cover a lot of it though. If you, at the end of the semester, I'll give you an opportunity to maybe pick a subject of interest, and if we have some extra time, I will prepare some lectures and assignments about that subject of interest. But I'll try to cover most of this stuff. Methods of instruction. So this will be, I will have lectures, and you will have graded homeworks. Labs, you can come to the lab and write programs outside of the class. We will be also writing programs in class. So this is a programming intensive class. To complete the assignment, some students may need as much as 2 or 3 hours of programming for each hour of class. Some students may need less. So lecture time and lab time will be different in every class depending on the needs of the class. If you have questions, please ask even in the middle of a lecture. That's very important. You have to be strong enough to ask questions. So you have to, if you don't understand something, you just have to raise your hand and ask a question. And very often, I find that very often, if you don't understand something, somebody else doesn't understand that either, and that person may be more shy than you are, so you're making them a favor. So please ask questions. It's very important. If you don't understand something, ask questions. Let me see what else here. Yeah, I already put the textbook up there. I will recommend an instruction, a reference manual in class also. But you can also find reference online. Just going to the Microsoft website, you will find the reference for VB.NET language. You can also buy Murach reference manual for VB.NET. Murach. Let me type here. believe that's how it's spelled, Norach. If you want a reference manual book. Okay. Okay, methods of evaluation. Student progress. So this course will be graded solely on writing programs. There won't be any multiple choice quizzes or stuff like that, because this is has nothing to do with memorizing, or you don't need a paper and pencil when you write programs. You need computer, and you will be writing programs to get the grade for this class. So this is approximately how it will be. I will decide how many homework programs I'll give you. We'll see how we go, and yeah, this is approximately how it will be broken down. But this is how it will be graded. Each example of incorrect code lowers the grade by half a grade. 3 such examples would make grade of B. So the incorrect code could be either an incorrect computation or problems with any of the subjects covered in class. For instance, unnecessary duplicate code. This does not apply to incorrect code we haven't learned yet, even though there will be comments pointing out any such problems. Yeah, so you will write a program and you will submit it to me, and I will give you a grade with detailed comments on your code, so you can learn what you did wrong, and yeah, you will have plenty of opportunity to learn. So this is what I was saying on academic integrity stuff. You may not receive help from the tutors on your graded programs in any shape or form. You may not receive help from other students or other persons on your graded programs in any shape or form. The only person you may receive help from a graded program is your instructor. Okay, so you can read this. We will cover this as we go. When we write programs in class during the lecture, we will cover, we'll learn how to use cosmetics, for example. You know, what is meaningful variable names, and what is convention in variable names, what's hard coding, what is duplicate coding, what is user-friendly programming. Okay, there are standards, and we'll learn about this stuff. Program submission in class. Graded programs must be submitted before class is over. Homework assignment graded programs must be submitted at or before the start of the class when the assignments are due. Since the final grade is made up solely of programs, and since each program may be discussed in class on the day after it is due, if you need to submit a program late, please contact me to find the date when you can submit the program. All programs, regardless of where they were written, must be able to run on the lab equipment. Okay, so if you want to submit something late, just let me know in advance. Not a problem. I'm not going to penalize you for that. You just have to let me know in advance. If your program on the screen larger than the lab computer, okay, that's not so relevant. So submit the program on a flash drive and print out a copy also for me. Okay. Okay. Observation of religious holiday policy. So if you have any kind of religious holiday, Octon cannot penalize you for that. So you can take time to observe the holiday, and Octon will work with that. Okay, responsible use of computers and information technology. So you can read this also. And if you have any kind of disability, then you have to contact the Access and Disability Resource Center at the Des Plaines or Skokie campus. So now we're done with the syllabus, and now we'll start VB.NET programming. We'll close the syllabus first. Okay, I can never find the start button these days anymore. Okay, this is the start button. Now we need to find our Microsoft Visual Studio. So this is the most used, so all applications. Let me open it. So we need M, Microsoft Visual Studio. So once you found the Microsoft Visual Studio that 2010 folder, you have to open it. You opened it and you have to find this Microsoft Visual Studio 2010 thing with like infinity sign or 8 that sort of lays on its side. It's laying on its side. So this is the one you need. You open it. So this is how it's supposed to look. So it's loading at this point. So this is what you should get. So at this point you have to, right here you have to press new project. And here you're given a list. Here you have to pick Windows Forms application, and right here you have to give it a name. So the name that we're gonna give our program, that will be, let's say, first program VB VB.NET. I don't know if you can put it out. Let's say just first program VB for 2015. Give it some kind of name. Press OK. So okay, this is what you should be getting, something like that. At this point I should ask, I want to ask the instructor to make sure that everybody got to this point. First of all, you have to find Microsoft Visual Studio on the labs computers. This is on my computer. I found it on my computer. I showed you how to find it on my computer, but you have to find it on the labs computer. So please do it at this time. You see in front of yourself something that's called form. We can make it bigger this way. I'm just tapping on this corner, making it bigger. In the bottom right corner you see something that's called properties. So when you tap on the form, you should get something like that. So when you go to the very bottom of the properties, you will get this. You click on it, and you can click maximized. So we changed this one property of the form. So the name on the form is form 1. This is the name that that Visual Basic, that VB.NET knows it by. So it's known by form 1. But there is also something that's called text. There's text here, and I can change it to main menu, for example. So this is what you see when you start your program. Usually, let's say in your HR program, human resources program, you open the user, the HR worker opens this program, and what they see is the main menu first. So you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this, but I have, so that you could see what I'm writing here. So you change some properties of the form, you change the name, not the name but the text. Remember, it's still called form 1. For the programming, but text, the title, says main menu. You made it maximized, and I changed the font, which you don't have to do. Now you can either press F5 or you can press this button with like a sort of a triangle. It says, if you hover over it, it says start debugging F5. So you can either press F5 or this button, click on this button. So let's try it. Okay. Now you see that it's maximized and has it says main menu on the top. And you can close it right here. So at this point you have to make sure that you can do this. You can write the program, you can run the program here and you get this result. If you don't have this result, please make sure you get this result, ask questions, and the instructor should be able to help you now. Now, one thing that you absolutely have to do every time you make any kind of change, a small change, you always have to press the save button. Don't forget to press the save button as many times as you need. So when you save, press the save project button, it will give you this kind of thing. Just press save again. The reason why I always have to press save button is because computers crash and you can lose things that you didn't save, and sometimes it's very frustrating. So on the left side here you have a toolbox, something that's called toolbox. So please go to this toolbox and you can find there a button. Click on the button and then go back to your form and click again. So this is how you place a button on your form. Now you can resize it just like you did resize the form itself. Just click it on the bottom right corner and drag it. Hold it and drag it this way. Notice it says button 1. My font is much bigger than yours, so that you can see what my buttons are saying here. Because I changed the font before, you don't have to do it. So this is your button. So every form that we're going to write is going to need to have the exit button. So we click on the button and we go to the properties again. We find text and we change it to exit. This. So now we have this exit button. Now let's run this program again. See what happens. Okay, so we have the exit button, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't exit, right? First of all, let's put it lower on the bottom right here. So in order for this button to do something, you have to write code for this button to do something. So in order to do this, you have to first double click on it. And now you can see that it lands you in this place where you can write the code. Before we write the code for the button, let me first make it bigger. So let me make it bigger for you so that you can see it better. So before we write anything here, if you can see, it says private sub button 1 underscore click. So button 1 underscore click is an event. So it happens is as the user clicks on the button, whatever we write here happens. So first, before anything, we go on the tab and we put here the date sorry, 14th, right? The time, let's say 7. And we'll also put what this form is all about. So this is how we make buttons do things. So notice I put single quotation mark, and that enabled me to write a comment. So this is what you call a comment. Whenever you write a comment, you put a single quotation mark, and you can write whatever you want. The computer will just ignore it. So these comments are just for you and for your fellow programmers. So again, don't forget to save. So we'll go back to our button code, and here, so if you remember, what does this button have to do? It has to exit the program. So this is how you exit the program in VB.NET. So there's such a thing. This is how you do it basically. Me.close. This is how you exit the program in VB.NET. Again, save it. Go back to your form design and run it again. Now let's see if it works. Now what happened? The program is closed. Once we press the exit button, the program closed. Okay, that's great. So now please, the substitute instructor, make sure that everybody is getting the right result, you know. If needed, please pause the video and make sure that everybody is up to speed. Now I would like you to think what every single program in the world needs to have. I want you to think of a program as some place where we put in information, and then we get some other information back. The program processes the information, and then it displays the result. So with that in mind, it seems to be obvious that every single program needs to have the way for the user to enter the information and to display the information. So let's now do some planning. Because I don't have the whiteboard, I'm going to use just Word. So let's imagine this is our form. Okay, this will be our exit button, right? And we are going to need 2 more buttons here. So here we have our exit button. So right here, okay, let me make it. How do you? That shape size. Okay, so basically, let's put this. Let's make it 16. Here we have enter info. That will also be 16. And here we have display info. Okay, so this is our main menu. Okay, I'll just put it. This is main menu. This is our main menu. Now, so at this point, I would like you to go back to our code, to our program, and I want you to make these buttons on your own. I'll give you some time to make these buttons on your own. So I hope you were successful. You have successfully created 2 more buttons. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask the substitute instructor. Now let me create the buttons myself. Notice the way these buttons are numbered, right? So the exit button was button 1. Then we have here button 2, and next one is button 3, So let me make them bigger like this. Go here, and let me make this bigger like this. Okay, so as we said on our planning chart, this will need to have enter info, and this will say, this one will say display info. Okay, that's not hard. Let's save it again. Don't forget to save every time. And now let's go back to our planning chart, and let's think about it first. When we press the button enter info, what do we want to see? I would guess, and maybe you could guess, and the obvious solution would be we would want to see another form, right? Another form appears once you press the enter info button or display info button. You'll need another form. So we'll need, at this point, we'll need two more forms. Let's just do the planning first, and then I will show you how to create new forms in VB.NET. Okay, this will be our second form, and this will be our third form. We can make them a little bit maybe smaller this way, like this. So this form we'll call enter info, enter information form, and let's put it on top. And this one will name display information. Okay, whatever goes on this form we have not decided yet. The only thing we know, it's gonna have the exit button. The exit buttons. So this one, oh, I'm sorry for this one. Let me go back. Okay, so So let me make this font large enough that you can see. Okay, so let's go create some new forms. Let's go back to our VB.NET. Let's create let's go back. Let's go to project, select add Windows form. You don't have to change anything, that just press add and you have another form. At this point you already know how to create your exit button. This way. First of all, we forgot to do the maximize. Then I have to increase the the size of the font, but you don't have to. Okay, so this is our second form. It has to we have to name it display information. We have to put like a name, a label on it. So this is called the label. It's a new element. If you go to your toolbox, you can see a label here, capitalized A. You click on it and you put it on your form, and now a label is just a text. So you can click on it and go to the properties, go to the text and change it to enter information. Well, we are going to end up we are going to make it a human resources program. So let's right away put employee information. Enter employee information. And we have this button. We also have to name it exit. And we have to save. And then we need to double click on exit button. This is familiar code for you. Again, we need to put some comments here to make sure we know what this code is doing. So first of all, this is I have to put the date and the time. I have no idea what the time will be. And let me see, let me also put what the program will be doing. So this is this form will accept the employee information. From the user. So this will be the exit button. Okay, now I want you to notice how indentations work here. So we have this outer clause, and then the inner clause goes have some kind of indentation, and then what we write inside is also indented to the right and moved a little bit to the right, and this is what's called cosmetics, because it makes it easier for you and for other programmers to read. Technically, you could put this, all of these commands just one under another, and we wouldn't know. It wouldn't be readable. The program wouldn't be readable. So let's go back to our form 2. So supposedly we already, sort of done with exit button, and we put a label on this form. Now what I would like you to do is on your own, please do create form 3 using the same process I just described. So please pause this video and I'll get back to you later. Okay, I'm back now. So form 3, when I said form 3, I meant display information and display information form. So I hope you had some time and you were able to create this form on your own, and let me do it now also. So this is I go to project, I go to add Windows form. So this is form 3. I press add. I go to Windows state maximized. You don't have to do the font thing. So what we have to put here is the button. Notice every single form we create starts counting the buttons, from one, and the label. So this will say display employee information, and this will say exit. I double click on exit. I add some comments. This form will display information about the employee. Okay, this is the exit button. Okay, I always save it. I save it often. You have to also do the same thing because computers crash and you don't want to lose your code. So now let's try to run our program. So how about we press enter info? Oops, nothing happens. And display info, nothing happens. So what's wrong here? As you can guess, here the computer does not have a way to know where to go once we press this button. We have not told VB.NET where we want this button to take us. The names we give to the buttons and to the forms are arbitrary, and it does not know specifically where to go. So let's exit first. And now we need to write code to take us from this form to form 2 once we press enter info button. So for that we have to double click on enter info button and write some code that will take us to form 2. So this button will have to take us to form 2, which is display employee info form. And this is how we jump from form to form. And this is how we do it. So you know me close already. So what does this code do? First it hides the first form, right? Me.hide. It's like it hides it, right? Then it does something. Then it does something else, and then it closes the first form. So the second and third line is basically it shows the second form. And how do we know that it shows? How does the computer know which form to show specifically? You can see where the form 2 is written. You see that there is a form 2 here, right? So this is the only reference to form 2 that we have. Again, this code is written in form 1, and from the form 1 it refers in this code to form 2. Okay, I have to mention here that you are not required to understand this code right now, and you are not required to memorize it. In fact, you do not have to memorize anything in this class. Maybe the only thing you have to memorize where Microsoft Visual Studio 2010 is. And still, if you don't remember, you can just ask me. Programming is not about memorization. It's about understanding what you're doing and being able to find what you need. So again, when you write a program at home, and if you have problem writing the program, you can refer to the notes, you can call me or email me, or you can go to reference manual and search on the internet. So this is how you jump from form 1 to form 2. Don't memorize it, and you should not be able to understand it at this point, but this is the code how to jump from form 1 to form 2. Okay, let's save it, and let's go back to our form 1 design. And let's run it. So now jump to form 2. And from here we can actually test our exit button. So it exited the program. So now I would like you to write code to go from form 1 to form 3. I have to mention first, I have to remind you first that we are writing this code when we call the display info button. So let me just show you where you have to write this code. You have to write it here. So we write it in form1 code in a private sub button 3 underscore click event, and we are going to form 3. So using the code from that sends us from form 1 to form 2, you can now write yourself the transition from form 1 to form 3. Okay, I'm back, and now I will write the code that I hope you already did. Notice what I did? I just copied the same code and changed form 2 to form 3. This is all you had to do. Copy and paste are very good things when you program. So at this point, I also would like the substitute instructor to make sure that everybody's up to date with regard to the code. And I want to remind everybody that you have to, if you fall behind, you don't understand something, you have to stop the video. You have to ask this substitute instructor to stop the video and ask questions. If by some reason maybe the substitute instructor is not able to answer your question, it's not a big deal. Just write down your question. I will and email it to me. I will respond as soon as I can.